Gender and Society class. This is Module 2 on the theoretical perspectives on gender inequality. Here, we're going to somehow answer the question, why does gender exist? With these perspectives that explain the process of learning and enacting gender identities. We're going to cover for this module structural functional theory, symbolic interaction theory, and social conflict theory. For the structural functional theory approach, views society as a complex system of many separate but integrated parts. Let's take, for example, the human body. It is composed of different parts. Each part functions for the whole. That's the structure. A malfunction of one part affects the whole. For instance, a toothache makes the whole person absent from class because the whole body is affected. From this point of view, gender serves to organize social life. Gender integrates society both structurally in terms of what we do and morally in terms of what we believe. The level of analysis for structural functional theory is at the macro level, or analysis of a society as a whole. Now, what gender means for this theory is that it is complementary. Masculine complements feminine. Is gender helpful or harmful? It is helpful. Gender gives men and women distinctive roles and responsibilities that help society operate smoothly. Gender builds social unity as men and women come together to form families. Now, symbolic interaction theory. Approach takes a micro-level view of society, focusing on face-to-face interaction in everyday life. Gender affects everyday interaction in several ways. If you watch women and men interacting, for example, you will probably notice that women typically engage in more eye contact than men do. Holding eye contact is a way of encouraging the conversation to continue. Looking directly at someone clearly shows the other person that you are paying attention. This pattern is an example of sex roles. Now, the level of analysis for this is micro level, as been mentioned. Individual, because it's face-to-face. Gender means is a part of the reality that guides social interaction in everyday situations. Is gender helpful or harmful? It is both. It is helpful because gender is one of the factors that help us relate to one another. At the same time, it may be harmful because gender shapes human behavior. Okay? So, women and men may think or behave based on how society defines them. For the social conflict theory, gender involves differences in power. The idea here is that gender benefiting men the way oppression benefiting the haves. Haves are those who have the power, who have the resources, and the opposite of that are the have-nots. This creates division and tension. The men seeking to protect their privileges, while the women are challenging such privileges of men. In hunting and gathering societies, for example, activities of men and women at that time were of equal importance. Now, the successful hunt by men had a great prestige, but the vegetation gathered by women provided most of a group's food supply. As technological advances led to a productive surplus, however, society has that the equality and communal sharing gave way to private property and ultimately a class hierarchy, that of upper class, middle class, and lower class, the one that we have today. With surplus wealth to pass on to heirs, the upper class men needed to be sure their sons were their own, which led them to control the sexuality of women. In what way? So the surplus wealth need to go to the heirs, of course. You don't want that to go to somebody else's children. So they are going to have to ensure that their sons are their own and control women's sexuality through monogamy. Only one man or one husband and one wife. So they are going to produce authentic 100% children of their flesh and blood. So women, they will bear and raise one man's children. Now, capitalism, with that, there was this stronger male domination that creates more wealth, and in turn, men as earners, property owners, and that have greater powers. So they expand their economy, and that women became the consumers, and that men, even then with the expansion of economy, while other men may have low wages, but women may have no wages at all. So there is still disparity among those who are at a disadvantaged situation. Now, the level of analysis for this is the macro level, society as a whole. What gender means is that is the power of one sex over the other. So the haves and the have-nots. Is gender helpful or harmful? For this theory, it is harmful. Gender limits people's personal development. Gender divides society by giving power to men to control the lives of women. So that's how this theory says it all. Capitalism makes patriarchy stronger.